Today we'll be doing some more problems on root locus diagrams. The problem statement is a negative feedback system. A negative feedback system is characterized by g of s h of s is equal to k divided by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2 into s plus 3, k greater than 0. Sketch the complete root locus plot. Sketch the complete root locus plot. Solution. Step number 1. Plot poles and zeros. Plot poles and zeros of g of s, h of s on the s plane. What are the poles? S is equal to 0. The poles are S is equal to 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. No finite zeros. No finite zeros. That means there are 4 zeros at infinity. There are 4 zeros at infinity. S plane is a complex plane having real axis sigma, imaginary axis j omega. This is S plane. Again we will take 1:2 scale. Always we will take 1:2 scale. 1:2 scale. We have pole at the origin, then pole at minus 1, poles at minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Minus 1 means 2 centimeters, minus 2 means 4 centimeters, minus 3 means 6 centimeters. On the top of the poles, write k is equal to 0. On the top of the poles, write k is equal to 0. Second step, k is equal to 0 points are s is equal to 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, pole locations. K equal to infinity points are s is equal to infinity, 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 infinity. There are 4 zeros at infinity. Next step, a branch of the root locus, short form for root locus is RL. A branch of the root locus starts on a pole. Pole means k equal to 0 and ends on a 0. 0 means k equal to infinity. A branch of the root locus starts on a pole and ends on a 0. Next, number of branches. Number of branches of the root locus equals P or Z. P stands for finite poles, Z stands for finite zeros. P or Z, whichever is greater. In the present problem, P is 4, Z is 0. P stands for number of finite poles which are 4 in number. Z stands for number of finite zeros, there are none. Therefore, number of branches is equal to 4. Next point, a point on the real axis. A point on the real axis will lie on the root locus if number of poles plus zeros equals an odd number to the right of the point considered. Odd number to the right of the point considered. You start writing notes along with me. A point on the real axis will lie on the root locus if number of poles plus zeros equals an odd number the right of the point considered. So let me consider a point here. See, to the right of this point you have one pole, no zeros. 1 plus 0 is an odd number, therefore root locus will lie here. You take a point between -1 and -2 and see to the right of that point you have two poles and no zeros. So 2 is an even number, therefore root locus will not lie between -1 and -2. You take a point between -2 and -3. For example, look at my finger, forefinger. See to the right of my forefinger, you have got 3 poles. Correct? You have got 3 poles and no zeros. So 3 poles, 3 plus 0. Correct? 3 plus 0 is what? 3, odd number. Hence, root locus will lie between -2 and -3. Take a point here. Look to the right of this point, you have got 4 poles, no zeros. 4 plus 0 is 4. Correct? Which is an even number, therefore root locus will not lie here. You take a point between 0 and -1, see to the right of that point. Since number of poles plus zeros equals 1, which is an odd number, root locus shall lie between 0 and -1. You take a point between -2 and -3, look to the right of that point. Number of poles plus zeros is equal to 3, an odd number, therefore root locus will lie between -2 and -3. In this manner, the root locus on the real axis is sketched. Next, we'll go for asymptote calculations. Step number 6. Number of asymptotes is equal to p minus z. That is 4 minus 0 is equal to 4. Centroid sigma a is equal to summation finite poles minus summation finite zeros divided by p minus z. Add all pole locations. So you get 0, -1, -2, -3. There are no finite zeros, therefore the summation is 0 divided by 4 minus 0. This is -6 by 4. -6 by 4 means -1.5. So this is the centroid. Sigma a is equal to -1.5. The angle made by the asymptotes is given by the formula phi a is equal to 2q plus 1 into 180 degrees divided by p minus z. Q should take 4 values because there are 4 asymptotes. Q takes values 0, 1, 2 and 3. I'll make a small table. This is Q, this is phi a. When Q is, what is the value of P? Value of P is 4, Z is 0. When Q is 0, phi a is 45 degrees. When Q is 1, phi a is 130 degrees. When Q is 2, phi a is 225 degrees. When Q is 3, phi a is 315 degrees or minus 45 degrees. 315 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction, minus 45 degrees in the clockwise direction. This is how the angles are computed. So I will draw 4 asymptotes. This is asymptote number 1. It crosses j omega axis at j 1.5. This angle, see there are 4 asymptotes. I will show you separately. All the 4 asymptotes will start at sigma a. These are the 4 asymptotes. First asymptote is asymptote AS1. It makes an angle 45 degrees. This is asymptote AS2. It makes an angle 135 degrees. This is next asymptote, which is asymptote AS3. This makes an angle 135 degrees. This is asymptote number 4, which is AS4, which makes an angle minus 145 degrees. If I write all the angles over here, it will become very cumbersome. Say, if you take, how do you get this angle as 45 degrees? Tan inverse of 1.5 by 1.5 means tan inverse of 1 is 45 degrees. Okay, like this, the 4 asymptotes will be drawn. Correct? These asymptotes AS1 and AS4, this asymptote AS4, it crosses j omega axis at minus j 1.5. If you produce asymptote AS1 backwards, it will become asymptote AS3. If you produce asymptote AS4 backwards, it will give you asymptote AS2. Like this, the 4 asymptotes are drawn. This you have to do on a graph sheet. Step number 7, number of asymptotes, number of asymptote calculation over, sorry. A root locus is always symmetrical. A root locus is always symmetrical with respect to real axis. Next step, to find breakaway points. To find breakaway points. The system characteristic equation is 1 plus g of s h of s equal to 0. This implies 1 plus k divided by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2 into s plus 3 equal to 0. This implies s square plus s into s square plus 5s plus 6 is equal to 0. Remove the brackets. If you remove the brackets, you get s to the power 4 plus 5s cube plus 6s square plus s cube plus 5s square plus 6s 6 plus k equal to 0. I left out k here. Please write k. Now if you add s to the power 4 plus 6s cube plus 11s square plus 6s plus k is equal to 0 is the characteristic equation. So this characteristic equation, for my reference, I'll write down here s to the power 4 plus 6s cube plus 11s square plus 6s plus k equal to 0. This implies k is equal to minus s to the power 4 minus 6s cube minus 11s square minus 6s. dk by ds equal to 0 implies minus 4s cube minus 18s square minus 22s minus 6 is equal to 0. The roots are s is equal to minus 0.318. The roots are s is equal to minus 0.382, minus 0.382, minus 2.618, and minus 1.5. Use the calculator and find the roots. Our calculator kept on the table. I just copied from there. S is equal to minus 0.382, minus 2.618, minus 1.5. Minus 0.382 is on the root locus. Hence could be a breakaway point. Minus 2.618 is also on the root locus. It could also be a breakaway point. Minus 1.5 is not on the root locus, therefore it is definitely not a breakaway point. But still we will ascertain by calculating the values of k at these breakaway points. We will still ascertain whether these are breakaway points or not by finding the value of k using this expression at the breakaway points. So find what is the value of k at s is equal to minus 0.382. Find the value of k at s is equal to minus 2.618. Find the value of k at s is equal to minus 1.5. Use these values of s in this expression for k. So you will get the answers. This is minus 0.5625 plus 1 and plus 1. So please note here, the value of k at a breakaway point should be real and positive. Therefore, minus 0.382 and minus 0.2618 qualify as breakaway points. This cannot be a breakaway point. Hence, write the value of k at a breakaway point should be real and positive. Hence, the breakaway points are s is equal to minus 0.382 and s is equal to minus 0.2618. I mark here. This is the breakaway point. S is equal to minus 2.618. Value of k is 1. This other breakaway point is minus 0.382. This is the breakaway point, which is s is equal to minus 0.382. Value of k over there is 1. We need not calculate angles of departure because there are no complex poles. Next step is to find intersection points on the j omega axis. To find intersection points on the j omega axis. To find intersection points on j omega axis and the range of k for stability of the negative feedback system. The system to find the intersection points on j omega axis and the range of k for stability. The system characteristic equation is written over here. I'll just copy. S to the power 4 plus 6s cube plus 11s square plus 6s plus k is equal to 0. On the imaginary axis, the value of s is j omega. Therefore, in the characteristic equation, we'll put s equal to j omega. Please note that j is what? J is root of minus 1. J square is minus 1. J cube is minus j. J to the power 4 is 1. You put s equal to j omega. Letting s is equal to j omega gives omega to the power 4 minus 6j omega cube minus 11 omega square plus 6j omega plus k equal to 0. Collect the real part. It is omega to the power 4 minus 11 omega square plus k. Collect the imaginary part. J into minus 6 omega cube plus 6 omega equal to 0 plus j0. 0 on the right side, I will write as 0 plus j0. equating real and imaginary parts, equating real and imaginary parts on both sides, we get omega to the power 4 minus 11 omega square plus k equal to 0, equation number 1, and minus omega into minus 6 omega square plus 6 equal to 0, equation 2. Omega cannot be 0. Omega can be 0 only at the origin. At the intersection point, omega cannot be 0. Therefore, written, since omega cannot be 0, minus 6 omega square plus 6 is equal to 0. This implies omega is equal to plus minus 1 radians per second. From equation 1, k is equal to minus omega to the power 4 plus 11 omega square at omega is equal to plus minus 1 is equal to 10. So at the intersection point, the value of k is 10. Now I am going to sketch the entire root locus. Let me sketch the root locus and then explain. These two poles will move towards each other. They will meet at the breaker point s is equal to minus 0.382. Out of these two poles, any one will select AS1, then the other one will select AS4. These two poles have got options to select either asymptote 1 or asymptote 4. So let me sketch the root locus. This could be one branch starting on minus 1 and going to infinity along asymptote AS1. This could be the other branch. Starting on this pole and going towards infinity along asymptote 4. The intersection point, this is plus j1, this is minus j1. The value of k at the intersection points are 10. Here also it is 10, here also it is 10. So there are 4 branches. All the 4 branches have to go to infinity to meet the zeros. These zeros are called infinite zeros. They are residing at s equal to infinity. These two poles will move towards each other, meet at the breaker point. These two poles have got option either to select AS2 or AS3. Let me assume that this pole selects AS2. Then the other pole has to select AS3. So let me put the figure. Let us assume that the pole at s equal to minus 3 selects asymptote AS2 and goes to meet the 0 at infinity. This is third branch. The fourth branch is the pole at s equal to minus 2 shall go parallel to asymptote AS3 to meet the 0 at s equal to infinity. So there are 4 branches, correct? All the 4 branches will terminate on the zeros at infinity. By doing so, they will go parallel to the straight lines called asymptotes. So for example, this pole will go along AS1 to meet the 0 at infinity, then this will go along AS4. If this goes along AS4, then this will go along AS1. Symmetry. If you cut this figure along real axis, the top portion, the bottom portion will be exactly identical. If this pole goes along AS3, then this pole will go along AS2. If this goes along AS2, then this will go along AS3. These two poles have got option either to select AS2 or AS3 because of the symmetric condition. These two poles have got option to select either AS1 or AS4 again because of symmetric condition. For k greater than 10, root locus trespasses on the right hand side of the S-plane. We want to select those values of k which will ensure that the root locus is on the left hand side of the S-plane from the stability considerations. So I am going to write for closed loop control system. For closed loop control system to be stable, For closed loop control system to be stable, K should be greater than 0, less than 10. This is also a conditionally stable system. That means system is stable for a range of K. Conditionally stable system. Conditionally stable system. This is the end of the problem. G of s, h of s is equal to K divided by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2 into s plus 3. Next problem. Next problem. Sketch the root locus plot for g of s, h of s is equal to k divided by s square into s plus 2, k greater than 0. Show that the system is always unstable. This is first part of the problem. Second part, a 0 is added at s is equal to minus a, where a is greater than 0, less than 2. Show that the addition of this 0 to the 0 to g of s, h of s makes the unstable system stable. That means what the author wants to tell you here is you can bring in stability by adding 0 to an unstable system. So we shall do this problem. Let me read the problem. Sketch the root locus plot for g of s, h of s is equal to k divided by s square into s plus 2, k greater than 0. Show that the system is always unstable. A 0 is added at s equal to minus a lies between 0 and 2. Show that the addition of this 0 to g of s, h of s makes the unstable system stable. So once the problem is understood, we can do the solution. First we'll take g of s, h of s is equal to k divided by s square into s plus 2, k greater than 0. K greater than 0. Step 1, plot poles and zeros of poles and zeros means finite poles and finite zeros, g of s, h of s on the s plane. S plane is a complex plane having real axis sigma, imaginary axis j omega. This is S plane. We'll mark the poles. What are poles? Roots of the denominator polynomial. We have two poles at s equal to 0 and another pole is at s equal to minus 2. Where poles are there, you write k equal to 0. Where zeros are there, you write k equal to 0, 0 because there are two poles at the origin. Here there is one pole at minus 2. Instead of writing 0 minus 0, I just write 0, signifying that both the poles are at the origin and the value of k at the origin is 0. Okay. Second step, k is equal to 0 points are s is equal to 0, 0, minus 2. There are no finite zeros. K equal to infinity points are, there are 3 zeros. Number of poles must be equal to number of zeros. Number of zeros will have two parts, finite zeros and zeros at infinity. Here there are no finite zeros, hence all the 3 zeros are at infinity. K equal to infinity points are, S is equal to infinity, infinity, infinity. Third step, a branch of the root locus, always starts on a pole. Pole means k is equal to 0 and ends on a 0. 0 means k equal to infinity. Fourth step, number of branches of the root locus, RL stands for root locus, is equal to P or Z, comma, whichever is greater. P stands for finite poles, 0 stands for finite zeros. Here P is equal to 3. There are no finite zeros, therefore Z is 0. P equals 3 because there are 3 finite poles. Z is equal to 0 because there are no finite zeros. So that means number of branches is equal to 3. Fifth step, a point on the real axis. A point on the real axis will lie on the root locus if number of poles plus zeros equals an odd number to the right of the point considered, equals an odd number to the right of the point considered. To the right of the point considered. So I'll take a point here. See, to the right of this point we have 2 poles and no zeros. 2 is an even number, therefore root locus will not lie anywhere between 0 and minus 2. You take a point to the left of minus 2, number of poles 3, number of zeros, finite zeros 0, 3 plus 0, 3, 3 is an odd number, therefore root locus will lie to the left of minus 2. Step number 6. Number of asymptotes is equal to P minus Z is equal to 3 minus 0 is equal to 3. Sigma A is equal to summation finite poles minus summation finite zeros divided by P minus Z. Summation finite poles means 0 plus 0 minus 2. There are no zeros, divided by P is 3, Z is 0, minus 2 by 3. 2 by 3 means minus 0.67. Phi A is equal to 2 cube plus 1 into 180 degrees divided by P minus Z. There are 3 asymptotes, so Q should take values 0, 1 and 2. What is P here? Here P is 3, Z is 0. Q is equal to 0 implies phi A is equal to 60 degrees. Q is equal to 1 implies phi A is equal to 180 degrees. Q is equal to 2 implies phi A is equal to 300 degrees or minus 60 degrees. So I will draw the asymptotes at minus 0.67. This could be sigma A is equal to minus 0.67. This is asymptote number 1. This makes an angle of 60 degrees with respect to real axis. This is asymptote number 2, AS2. This makes an angle of 180 degrees as per this calculation. As this is asymptote number 3, this makes an angle of minus 60 degrees. So what is where this intersects? This is nothing but j times 0.67 into tan 60 degrees. Where this intersects, minus j times 0.67 define tan 60. Tan 60 is what? Opposite side by adjacent side. Therefore, this is minus j 0.67 tan of 60 degrees. If plus these 2 points are opposite of each other. Magnitude wise they are identical, but sign wise they are negative of each other. Now there are 4 asymptotes. Now you see these two poles have already met at the origin. Therefore, don't calculate breakaway points. Out of these two poles, one will follow asymptote AS1, the other one will follow asymptote AS3. These will go parallel to the asymptotes, going towards k tending to infinity. 2 branches. One of the poles will go parallel to asymptote AS1. The other pole will go parallel to asymptote AS3. This is the third branch, which will go coalescing the asymptote number 2. This is also going towards k tending to infinity. Whenever a branch of the root locus is also called root loci. Whenever it goes to infinity, it will always go parallel to a line called asymptote. There are 3 asymptotes, therefore there will be 3 branches which will be going along the asymptotes to meet the zeros at infinity. Asymptote is defined as a tangent to a curve at infinity. Okay? See, 2 branches of the root locus lie completely on the right hand side of this plane, hence system is always unstable. Point number 7. A root locus is always symmetrical with respect to real axis. Since 2 branches of the root locus lie completely on the right hand side of the S plane, it means closed loop control system. CLCS means closed loop control system is always unstable. So first part of the problem is solved. We'll now go to second part. In second part, a 0 is added at S equal to minus a. Second part, after adding the 0 at S is equal to minus a, we get GH of S is equal to K into S plus A divided by S square into S plus 2. A is greater than 0, less than 2. Let us assume A is equal to 1, because we have taken a value, particle root locus have taken A is equal to 1, which is between 0 and 2. Then GH of S is equal to K into S plus 1 divided by S square into S plus 2. Step number 1. Step number 1. Plot poles and zeros of GH of S on the S plane. Plot poles and zeros of GH of S. GH of S is same as G of S, H of S. S plane, I keep repeating, is a complex plane whose real axis is sigma, imaginary axis is j omega. We have two poles at the origin, the other pole is at -2. In this case, we have got a 0 at -1. We have got a 0 at -1. Where poles are there, you write k equal to 0. And where zeros are there, you write k is equal to infinity. In this case, p is equal to 1 because there is one, sorry, in this case, p is equal to 3 because there are 3 finite poles, and z is equal to 1 because there is one finite zero. The other two zeros are at infinity. The reason is number of poles must be equal to number of finite zeros plus number of zeros at infinity. Finite zero is 1, therefore there are two zeros at s equal to infinity. Second step, k is equal to 0 points are s is equal to 0, 0, -2. K equal to infinity points are s is equal to -1, infinity, infinity. A branch of the root locus, always starts on a pole. Pole means k is equal to 0 and ends on a 0. 0 means k equal to infinity. Step number 4. Number of branches of the root locus is equal to p or z, comma, whichever is greater. Here p is 3 and z is 1. Therefore, number of branches is equal to 3. Fifth step. A point on the real axis. A point on the real axis will lie on the root locus if number of poles plus zeros equals an odd number to the right of the point considered. Now let us take a point between 0 and -1. Look to the right of this point. There are two poles, no zeros. 2 plus 0 is 2, even number. Therefore, root locus will not lie between 0 and -1. Take a point between -1 and -2. Look to the right of this point. Correct? There are two poles and 1 0. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. Therefore, root locus will lie between 0 and -2. You take a point to the left of -2 and see to the right of that point, you have got 3 poles plus 1 0. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, even number. Therefore, root locus will not lie to the left of -2. So, real axis locus is now sketched. Next, we'll go to asymptotes. Number of asymptotes. Number of asymptotes is equal to p minus z is equal to 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. Sigma a is equal to summation finite poles minus summation finite zeros divided by p minus z. Add all pole locations. 0 plus 0 minus 2. This is minus 2. Minus of minus 1 divided by 3 minus 1. So this is 1 divided minus 1 divided by 2 equal to minus 0.5. phi a is equal to 2q plus 1 into 180 degrees divided by p minus z. Q takes values 0, 1. Q takes only two values because there are only two asymptotes. Q equal to 0 implies phi a is equal to 90 degrees. Q is equal to 1 implies phi a is equal to 270 degrees or minus 90 degrees. So two asymptotes are drawn. This is sigma a is equal to minus 0.5. These are the two asymptotes. This is asymptote 1, this is asymptote 2. This asymptote makes an angle of 90 degrees. This asymptote makes an angle of minus 90 degrees. Next, a root locus is always symmetrical. A root locus is always symmetrical with respect to real axis. Is always symmetrical with respect to real axis. Next point. To find breakaway points. To find breakaway points. The system characteristic equation is 1 plus k into s plus 1 divided by s square into s plus 2 is equal to 0. This implies k is equal to minus of s cube plus 2s square divided by s plus 1. dk by ds equal to 0 implies denominator square, denominator into differential of the numerator, which is 3s square plus 4s minus numerator into differential of the denominator. Differential of the denominator is 1 equal to 0. So denominator square, denominator differential of the numerator minus numerator to differential of the denominator divided by s plus 1 whole square equal to 0. This implies s plus 1 into 3s square plus 4s minus s cube minus 2s square equal to 0. So this is 3s cube plus 4s square plus 3s square plus 4s minus s cube minus 2s square equal to 0. So this becomes 2s cube plus 2s cube plus 5s square plus 4s is equal to 0. Is equal to 0. So see, what I have done is the system characteristic equation is 1 plus k into s plus 1 by s square into s plus 2 is equal to 0. I found the value of k. K is correct minus s cube plus 2s square divided by s plus 1. dq by ds is equal to 0 gives you minus s plus 1 denominator into differential of the numerator minus numerator into differential of the denominator equal to 0. So if you cross multiply, you get s plus 1 into 3s square plus 4s minus s cube minus 2s square equal to 0. So you remove the brackets, you get 3s cube plus 4s square plus 3s square plus 4s minus s cube. 3s cube minus s cube is 2s cube. 4s square plus 3s square is 7s square minus 2s square is 5s square plus 4s is equal to 0. So this implies s into 2s square plus 5s plus 4 equal to 0. This implies s is equal to 0 and two more roots. So breakaway point will be in this equation for k. If you put s is equal to in this equation for breakaway point, if in the equation for k, if you put s is equal to 0, you get s is equal to 0. If you put, you get minus 1. So what I mean to say is there are no breakaway points. No breakaway points. No breakaway points. If you put s equal to 0 here, 0 cube, this is 0, 0, 0 plus 1. So you are left with 0 by 1 is 0. Sorry. So k will be 0. K will be 0 at s equal to 0. That means origin itself, at the origin itself, both the poles are present. Correct? Therefore, what we understand is this calculation is redundant, not required for doing the solution. But however I have done, so at the other two roots, you may find that the value, the other two roots may not lie on the root locus. Please check. S is equal to 0 means origin itself. And both the poles are met at the origin, and the origin k is equal to 0. Therefore, we can say that since both the poles are met at k equal to 0, this itself is the breakaway point. So out of these two poles, one pole will go along AS1, the other pole will go along AS2. So this is the root locus. See, one pole at the origin will go parallel to AS1, it will go parallel to AS1 towards k tending to infinity. The other pole will go parallel to asymptote 2 towards infinity. This pole will meet the 0 at infinity. So all the three branches lie on the left hand side of the S plane, hence closed loop control system is stable. Since all the branches of the root locus lie on the LHS of the S plane, it implies closed loop control system is always stable, absolutely stable system. This is the end of the solution. Always stable. So one thing is, in the examination, correct, even if you don't do this step, you may get marks because there is no breakaway point. Sometimes breakaway point may still come. I'll show you the next problem. In this case, you get a cubic equation. Correct, there will be three roots. Two roots you find will not lie on the root locus. The other root is s equal to 0, which is the origin itself. Since both the poles are at the origin itself, correct? Origin itself, one of them will go along AS1, the other one will go along AS2. So normally a breakaway point comes when both poles move towards each other the real axis and meet at a point. Here already they are met. Therefore the origin itself can be viewed as the breakaway point. So by adding a 0, we have found that an unstable system has become stable. Thank you.